Happy New Comic Day, everybody. I gotta say, I'm surprised to say that and happy that I'm able to say that because this has been an absolute mad week. I'm just gonna go over everything that's happened, not even just for just me, but just a lot of crazy stuff that's going on this week. So, so Monday, I was after I dropped my 600 subs video and talked about the contest on Friday. I didn't get to respond to anybody, and I hadn't banked my videos to upload for Monday and Tuesday. So I was like, all right, I can do that. I'll just do that Monday. I don't upload, or I don't set anything to upload until 5 o'clock anyway, at least on this channel. The gaming stuff I usually try to do earlier in the day, just kind of whenever. I usually try to get it maybe 11, 12, but I don't have a set deadline. I'm not setting a time limit on that yet, just usually around 11, 12. And that's just kind of what I've been going sometimes later, just because I have free time and it's not that big of a deal. But so Monday, I was playing Ghost of Tsushima and I was streaming. This was early in the day, and there was a storm coming. I think I got a text notification, the storm notification saying there's a storm coming, thunderstorm, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was just chilling and I was streaming, because that's how I usually record some of the footage, and just streaming, playing along, and then my stream cut out. And I was like, oh, what the hell? So I stopped, so I paused it, and kind of dicking around, and I realized the internet went out. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So tried to hit up the internet company thinking it was just me. But no, the storm knocked out internet for a good chunk of the state, and the surrounding some areas in Illinois where one of my buddies is, and just all these places. Even the shop that I usually go to, I saw that they had posted out how they had no internet, so they were shutting down. And just all these places, I'm searching Facebook and Twitter, and just mad internet outages for everybody, so nobody has anything. I'm like, okay, I can't do anything. I can't upload. I can't hop on Call of Duty. I can't upload. I don't want to. And I'm just like, all right, I still haven't responded to any of these comments. And this is madness. Just threw everything off, and so that's why I couldn't upload. So no uploads for Monday and Tuesday, and because I don't have enough subscribers, I couldn't do a community post to say, hey, I don't have any internet right now. Nobody has any internet around me, so I can't even upload. And I didn't want to waste any of my data just uploading videos because I had no idea. Honestly, I thought it was going to be another couple of days. I wasn't expecting to have my internet back until Thursday or Friday. I was just like, all right, we're just in no man's land. And I had this contest going on, and I immediately stopped uploading videos. This is good. This looks wild. People were like, probably not, but I imagine somebody was like, all right, no more uploads, even though I've been doing damn good. I'm on a hot streak, uploading something Monday through Friday. I don't upload anything on this channel on weekends, unless it's just something kind of spur of the moment, that a shop visit or something like that, maybe a sale, I did the garage sale and stuff like that. So I usually don't do that. So that was that. And I'll probably be touching on that again later in the video. But there's also college football, a lot of that shit getting shut down, Big Ten, Pac-12. If you're a college football fanatic like I am, I love college football. They got all that going on right now, so there's a big debate whether to shut down or keep the season going. And Big Ten and Pac-12 have delayed or just cancel the fall sports, but postpone them or delay them. I forgot the specific wording they're using. So then we got the contest on Friday. I go back to work full time on Friday, and we have the biggest bombshell, one of the big bombshells this week, which is the crux of the comic news anyway for the New Comic Day Blast, is the mass layoffs at DC Comics. So we got the news the other day that DC just got hit with these, I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know how many people, but Bob Harris, Andy Corey, those are just two names that people might know. It depends on how deep you are into comics and just the behind the scenes stuff, just outside of maybe the main creators and just characters and stories. But those are just two of the many names of people that no longer have jobs in the middle of a pandemic. So it's bad enough to lose your job anytime. You never really want to see two people out. Well, I can name a couple people I would definitely like to see out of their current jobs, but outside of comics, you can take that how you want. But you never want people just losing their job. That absolutely sucks. It's a huge life change. All of a sudden, your future's unknown. Right now, you're stressing. And then you couple that to the state of the world we're in, especially in America, just the shit way that this pandemic has been handled, and all of a sudden, like, now you're just looking at, okay, now you don't have a job. What the hell do you do? And just the state of the comic book industry, publishing and actually releasing, distribution and release of books has really just kind of hit full swing maybe last month, because even Marvel was still kind of late getting back into things. Valiant hasn't gone full swing into it yet. They just talked about X-Men Wars coming back in I think October. I just read about that, so I could have the month wrong. But I think it was October. It could be, I don't want to say September, but I'm pretty sure it's October, November. But look at that. Publishers are still getting back to swinging things. The news with them was they vacated their offices out of they had their Manhattan office. So that's like nobody. They're all working from home. Nobody's in their office there. They're put it up for lease. So I mean, good luck with that. But yeah, so DC Comics, just these huge layoffs, and it's just a whole lot of going on in DC right now. Just the comic book industry, but especially with DC after they were bought out, and a lot of people were speculating this could be like, oh, this is the death of comics, blah blah blah. But it's not. Comics are in a great spot. It's just you have to look beyond. So you say, when people talk about the comic book industry, it's not just Marvel and DC. And some people might just say Marvel, DC, Image. No, there's Marvel, DC, Image, all these different publishers, Boom Studios, Zenescope, Valiant, Dark Horse, Dynamite, and Aftershock, Source Print, or Source Point, and what was another one I always think? Scout Comics is another one that I see a lot, and just like tons of publishers of varying sizes, and you have to, like, it's even bigger than that. It's the comic book, like as a whole, the digital storefronts. I don't even call them distributors, and then the retailers, from the big ones, my comic shop, Midtown, from the small LCSs, and the creators, the fans, and everything behind the scenes, all the people that work there. It's not just the creators just putting out books on themselves, like by themselves. You have the publishers, editors, and all these like people that actually make these offices work, secretaries and custodial staff, and just everybody that works in these buildings and these offices, helping to put a product out to sustain the industry. So it is bigger than just these two publishers and these like large superhero industries or shared superhero worlds. So it's a lot bigger than that. People have to start thinking about the comics industry bigger than that. And now a lot of people are, hey, they just care about the superhero stuff and they don't really care about indie stuff, or they don't understand, or just might not even know about a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes to make this product, like these end products, out and come to get into our hands here. So I just want people to think about that, and just, I don't know, just feel for the people that are just immediately lost out of work. Now, hopefully, they are based in California, and there are laws for notifications for when you're dealing with the mass layoffs. So hopefully they were notified and they had some time, because I imagine it would suck for just us all of a sudden wake up and you did not have a job. So they're supposed to, apparently, don't quote me on this, is just something I read, that for mass layoffs, but at least in California, you're supposed to get, at least I think it's based on the number of people that will be immediately out of a job, that they're supposed to get 90 days. So that's 3 months. Hopefully it's something to like prepare and like line up new work. And it's hard because, as I talked about with the wider comic book industry and thinking of it in its grand scale, and just what the pandemic has done, especially with, again, in America at least. But they're not going to be able to just go out and get another job at a publisher. Like, those are just tons of people. So especially like it's different if you're, let's say, if you're outside of editors and publishers and those executive positions that are kind of geared towards the comic book industry. They're not going to be able to just go swing another job at another publisher. It's not like they were just like that individual person, not like one person, 1, 2, 3 people, right? All right, we don't need you anymore, or you're bad at your job or something like that, or we're just not going in this, like maybe it's an imprint or something, just shutting this imprint down, and you just go find another job. No, there's lots of people are just not having that work out there. So I feel for them and just wanted to share that out in case you haven't heard it, but I imagine most people have. And a lot of people were, again, going back to the speculation aspect, this is about Warner Brothers and AT&T kind of looking towards the future and realize and seeing that, or kind of looking at comics as being, all right, comics don't make that much money, but I was just kind of thinking about the IP farming. So you have these big companies and they take over comic publishers. They don't care about a lot of times they don't care about the comics. They care about the IPs that the comics produce or are produced from. So Superman, Batman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, all of them are Teen Titans and Harley Quinn and Joker, and all of those characters, those stories, those are great. They might say, oh, well, comics don't do this, blah, blah, blah. But, and while we love comics, those are the thoughts of people that own these companies, and they're looking at this and trying to see bigger money, and they're looking at what movies do and merchandising and just everything that these IPs produce outside of comics, because they're thinking bigger and they want to, I don't want to say thinking bigger, but just thinking differently, and they just care about this. And then you have everything with HBO and the streaming services. So now it's okay, everybody's switching from cable and just what streaming services offer. So everybody has streaming service now, their own apps, and producing their own shows and maybe miniseries and probably producing their own movies and putting them, I don't know, probably not too many movies they're putting out on these streaming services and their own apps, but it's possible, that is a possibility. But it's really about what can the streaming services produce and pulling in and have subscriptions and pulling in people to view their product and pay them money on a monthly basis, and what can they offer from these IPs. So that's just something to think about if you're just thinking about, all right, where's the industry going and what's going on in DC and what are, Time Warner and AT&T and HBO. You're going to see those names a lot and you might be lost. Some people, I can imagine people are just absolutely lost when they see that stuff. Like, why do these companies have to do with my comics and DC and Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all that good stuff? And probably even wondering, what the hell I'm even talking about right now? But trust me, it all fits, and it's all related to DC Comics. So in their future, and some people, I was at the shop earlier, and I'll talk about what I picked up in a bit. But when we were talking about that as well, and just saying some people still speculate that DC might not even be publishing single issues anymore by next year. They might go the graphic novel route and then all digital releases, which I can foresee. Like, you can still get your single issues out on the DC Comics app or Comixology, and then for the physical releases, produce graphic novels. And just because maybe you're looking at they might be looking at the single issues as just a loss or just not producing enough to warrant the cost of producing however many, maybe a dozen or so issues every week. I mean, that's just something that we have to consider. The comic industry is heading for just more changes, and this pandemic has just kind of shone a light. I don't know, is shone even a word? Has just shined a light on to some of the issues that the comic industry faced. We saw that with distribution and Diamond, and just how that has impacted, and just what everything came to a screeching halt. And then we saw on the other side of it, DC dip off from Diamond and go with these other two distributors. So that is something to keep in mind. I just want to share that. Again, hopefully you aren't living on the rock. And again, so I'm just happy to be able to produce this video, because I'm like, all right, I had just lost 2 days of content. I was like, all right, I can't push these videos. So they just get pushed into another week. But new Comic Book Day Blast video, all right, I can do this. Gotta talk about DC, because that's just major industry news. And just hopefully all those people land on their feet and maybe just are prepared for this time until they find some other jobs to keep earning a living and just doing what they like. So yeah, that is that for just some comic news. Again, I just want to share some of the crazy stuff for the week and that big industry news, and then also touch on Valiant a bit, just because that one doesn't seem so, I don't know, major or just threatening, I guess, but it's just something to kind of keep in mind. It's like they just abandoned the whole office, but everybody's working remotely, so as far as I know, there haven't been like mass layoffs, but they just aren't producing as much anyway. They aren't like pushing out as many books as other companies are, so that just kind of, I don't know, just let me know what you think of that, just with Valiant. And I know somebody actually just dropped a comment if I'm reading any Valiant books, and I talked about some of the ones that I have read recently, at least within the last year and then previously, so So at least one person out there is thinking about Valiant right now. So that's that for comic book news. Now let's get into some recommendations, because there are a couple cool books out this week, and even when I get to my haul, I want to talk about some. And I misspoke again, because I realized when I was going through the new releases for this week, I didn't have a lot of the stuff that is out this week that is on my list. I didn't have pre-ordered, so I realized we're still another week, or I still have another week of some releases that were part of that original, or that part of that 1 month for May, and like the pre-order set. So a lot of the Marvel stuff, no, I did have all the DC stuff pre-ordered. So how that must have worked was everything that was solicited for that month was just kind of pushed through. Some of it was through July. I thought it was going to be all for July, but some of it was just got pushed. So I was like, all right. So I'm just thinking that month of releases, and I was like, all right, so that should have been stuff for July, but then some of the stuff just got pushed anyway. So okay, so all right, so now I just have to keep an eye on even more of these books. So I got a few of those today. But anyways, back to recommendations. First up, from Image Comics, we have Adventure Man #3. And I actually just read the first 2 issues of this book, and I think the last week, the first issue was I don't even know, it might have been double sized. It had to been. It's a thicker book, so it must have been in a 48 page range. I'm not sure. I didn't count the pages, and I had to double check online to see. But this kind of just goes back to, again, as I talked about before, like these pulp heroes and just kind of the resurgence of that, and like this character. It starts with the lead character and her son, and her kind of touches into, she has this big family, and they have this tradition every Friday night. If you're in town, you come over and you have dinner at her father's house. Her mother's gone. And that's weird when that stories have a lot of stories like that. It's always one parent is gone. They never have both. Like, they rarely ever have both parents. I don't know what it is with this, like this propensity to kill off a parent. Like, just why? You already have this big ass family. She has, I don't even know, several other sisters, probably 5 or 6 other sisters, her son. You couldn't just take a sister off, or just add in the mother. Like, why doesn't, and as far as I know, her death hasn't been anything other than to say just about the weekly tradition for having dinner together. I don't know. But anyways, so the first issue, I don't know, like I'm glad it was oversized, but it still was a lot to take in, because you're establishing the previous world of Adventure Man, who's the actual, like, the pulp hero that is like they're kind of basing it around, and the lead character and her son are reading the story, like his adventures, and they have all these other books of his stories, but then it's kind of bringing that into their world. So then she's going to become the star of it, her and like her son and her adventures, and that's where it kind of kicks into gear in the second issue, which I thought was such a better read, just because it kind of dove right into that. And you got Matt Fraction, Rachel, and Terry Dodson. Oh my God, Terry and Rachel Dodson. I'm so used to saying it that way. When I say it the opposite way, it just completely threw me off. So Rachel, like their Dodson work, which is something, seeing them doing interiors again, is something I wanted for, used to talk about years ago. And so now they are on a creator-owned book. So props to them. Again, it's a cool book, and I'm definitely curious. Again, I think the second issue was a stronger read. The first issue was set up a lot, but I'm all in now. So Adventure Man #3, and then we have, I want to talk about this one. I usually don't delve too into the mainstream titles that everybody's reading, but Empire #5 is out. I still don't have issue #3, so I haven't read that, or 4. Obviously, I do have 4, but I'm waiting to order a standard variant for issue 3. But I did read the first 2 issues, and I think I talked about this. I was actually surprised. I didn't know what to expect when I was at the shop and I was looking at them. I was thinking, you know what? Let me just do it. I think it was the same day I picked up Captain Marvel 18, which was surprisingly hot for some reason, because it's when Carol takes over or becomes the accuser. So she gets the hammer, everything, and then that issue just blew up. So it's all over. Like, shops are marking it up, and like it's just all over internet, or like people are just scooping up copies and just selling them for 15, 20 plus bucks or whatever. And just because that's just crazy stuff. Again, it's almost like a first appearance, but just a new role for an established character. So that's just kind of how that goes. But yeah, so Empire, again, a surprising read. The Kree and the Skrulls have united under Hulkling, or is it Hulkling? And as I forgot still their like his role as their leader. I forgot, it's like a specific title. I want to say like ultimate leader, ultimate ruler, or something like that. But somebody in the comments to correct me, or I remember as soon as I get off this video, because that's usually how that happens. But Empire 5, let me know if you're reading that. I know at least another subscriber is reading that and kind of enjoying it as well. But yeah, just curious what everybody else is reading. There's a ton of tie-ins, and I don't know if the pandemic and what it did for distribution kind of pushed it to that, because they are weekly. So it is weekly. Empire is running weekly along with their tie-ins. So there are, like, the Empire banner is on several books that are ongoing books, and then there's also like several tie-in miniseries, X-Men, Captain America, and even Avengers, which I think is odd that the Avengers have a tie-in book for a book that they're involved in already, which I feel like is just a bit of a money grab kind of thing. And I have to double check to see their main title to see if that is showing the Empire banner on it. But again, that's just a bit of it's just a weird thing to do. Like, it's Avengers and Fantastic Four, but you're putting out in the Empire Avengers miniseries. The Zero issues were one thing when you had Avengers Empire Zero or Empire Avengers Zero, whatever it was, and then for Fantastic Four, that's one thing because you're kind of just stepping into the story. Okay, that's cool, no problems there at all. But then you put out a miniseries, and I don't even know if Fantastic Four have one, so it's weird that Avengers have one, and then Captain America has one by himself. So what the hell is even going on? I'm curious because, okay, I dug the first 2 issues. Do I want to step into the tie-ins? I don't know. Because last time I went tie-in crazy was House of M, outside of Age of Apocalypse. But House of M, which I got every single tie-in for that story. And I remember Fantastic Four was pretty good. Spider-Man was okay. I don't remember any other ones. I think Iron Man had one, or something. Doctor Doom. Was Doctor Doom Iron Man in House of M? It was something weird, something crazy, but I think it was kind of interesting. But that was the last time I went completely tie-in crazy for a big comic event. And I ended up just selling most of those tie-ins. And it was, all right, I don't even care about these anymore. But I was just all in, keyed in for that one. So that's that. Empire number 5, Marvel Comics, Creeds and the Skulls, and Space Madness. So next up, we have another book from Image Comics, one I've talked about and enjoyed quite thoroughly. So I always shout it out, especially these smaller titles. But Excellence number 9 on shelves today. If you like magic and like this kind of family-based kind of story, I just recommend go checking this out. If you go to imagecomics.com, they might still have number 1s up. I'm not sure, but just go check that out. Worth a shot. If they still have it, go read that. Excellence number 1. Go pick up the trade too if you want, if you can. It's just a dope, cool, creator-owned story. Tons out there. And if you lean towards magic, I know a lot of people are magic fans, so just kind of go, just strong recommendation. Always, that's one title I always shout out because it's just such a dope book, and it's a good-looking book. Tons of cool creators on there, so go check that out. Excellence number 9. Now we'll get into the last segment that I wanted to do, and I just want to show off a couple books. Again, I already talked about how I still have to pick up a bunch of issues because I thought it was going to be over for July, but apparently not. Still carrying over just because COVID kind of pushed publishing and distribution all over the place. So I was able to step out and go grab a couple issues. So I'm going to show this off here. And one I should have added to my recommendations, which sometimes I usually shout this one out. But from Boom Studios, we have Something is Killing the Children number 9. You check the creators there. And yeah, just another cool book. I tend to Boom because they always have these low-key hits, and sometimes they're a shorter mini-series. And this one, I actually don't even know how long the series is going, but it's a cool book, dope book, so go check that out. And then I grabbed a couple Marvel books because I think I'm good on DC now, because the ones that are out this week I did pre-order, so those ones did carry. So I don't know when if there's gonna be any more DC issues that I need to actually pick up because I don't have them pre-ordered. Hopefully I don't, and I should be good. But still have some Marvel ones. And first up we have Marauders number 11. They did have a couple issues that I was not able to pick up. The shop that I went to, they didn't have any. Amazing Spider-Man 46, Captain Marvel 19, and they did have Empire 5, but I figured I'd hold off on that because I still need 3, so I'm not in a rush to go get that, and it's not going to sell anywhere, so that's okay. And then this one here is X-Force number 11. I love this cover because it's Russian superstars, Colossus and Omega Red facing off. This is absolutely dope. Love covers. Let's dig Omega Red as a character in his design. I don't know, guys, think about X-Men 4, his first appearance, and then the cover, and then I think X-Men 7, is it 5 or 7, that has him and Wolverine kind of tangling, and then it's almost similar to this one where Omega Red's coils are wrapped around Wolverine, like maybe his neck and then one of his arms, something like that. But it just presents a lot of cool artistic possibilities with Omega Red, especially with his coils, and he just looks so cool. And then he made an appearance in Daredevil. I have one of those, and then Pyro appeared in Daredevil too. I think it was Pyro, but Omega Red appeared in that, and then Iron Man, and I showed those tie-in issues with Cable. That's not that big of a stretch when he's appearing in another X-Men book though. But yeah, so Omega Red, and then you got the Path to X of Swords. I don't even know if they call it 10 of Swords. I haven't heard anybody actually say this. I only ever see it written. And it's kind of one of those things just similar to Powers of X, Powers of 10. Everybody called it Powers of X because it was House of X, and then to find out it was Powers of 10. Like, nobody's going to think of that. It was just, you see X, an X-Men book, you're going to say X. Like, that's just how it is. So that's just a marketing, that's just a branding thing they have to get behind. Like, hey, it's actually Powers of X, or Powers of 10. And I imagine this one is still just X of Swords, but it could be 10 of Swords, Tens of Swords. I don't know, that's weird. I don't know. Whatever, let me know what you think, how you pronounce it, or how you say that, because I'm just going to keep calling it X of Swords. So that is that. Yeah, so that is everything for New Comic Day. Again, talk about the crazy stuff that's going on this week and my uploads. So everything else will still be back on schedule. Internet's back working fine, and I just had to just kind of sprinkle those other videos just to next week and just kind of push them around. So you still have contests. Everything is still good for the contest. I will have, by the time you see this, I will have responded to most of the comments, and you still have until Thursday night to watch the video. If you haven't watched it, you definitely go back and watch my 600 sub video. Thank you all again, and like the video, subscribe, make sure you subscribe, and drop your comment sharing some feedback, specifically any type of content that you would like to see in the future, because this is about all of you and engaging with people. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts about what you'd like to see in the future. I've already seen, when just looking through, just remembering some of the comments that I read, some of the things, like definitely some good ideas. A couple were already things I already had in the works, so those will be, you can still get shout outs for those. But yeah, so just do all that, and thank you again for 600 subs. This is a New Comic Day Blast. Let me know what you picked up this week. Tons of cool stuff out, tons of cool stories, and also I'll just share this quickly. While I didn't have internet, I was just kind of chilling, and I started watching my Animal Kingdom DVDs, so that was just kind of cool. And because that's a series I wanted to rewatch, I showed those off at Christmas, and so I just cracked those up and rewatching that series, and I'm gonna keep watching it now because I love it so much, and I wanted to start it over anyway. And I was reorganizing stuff in my comic room. I got some decorations that I'm kind of keying up and that I want to unbox for just decorating that. Some cool comic book related stuff, obviously, and just kind of sorting and organizing some stuff that I've been meaning to do anyway. So I just had a little more extra time to do it, and I'm back to kind of separating some stuff that I want to sell, just trying to get rid of some stuff, make some space, some toys, some comic book stuff. So all this stuff going on. So yeah, that is that. Everything else back on schedule for the rest of the week. Somebody did ask a question about how and when the winner of the contest, 600 subs contest giveaway, will be announced. Again, that I'm pretty sure I said it in the video, but just for clarification, in case anybody missed it, that will be announced in my Friday video. Also be showing off something else that I talked about in that video, in the past video. But yeah, I will announce the winner. So everybody that follows those brief rules, they'll just get entered into just a random generator, and then I'll pick a winner, and we'll just go from there. And I'll announce that Friday in the Friday video, whatever else that I will have planned for that. So yeah, that is that. We're gonna wrap up here. Let me know what you picked up this week, what you're looking forward to, what you think of Empire, and are you going tie-in crazy? How far into the tie-ins are you going? Let me know, because I'm always curious to see how far people will go into stuff like that. And then just whatever else you find, any cool variants. Oh, that Dark Knight's Death Metal #3 variant with Supergirl by Art German's out today. I ordered 2 copies of those from My Comic Shop. I pre-ordered 2 of those from MyComicShop.com, so they'll be coming next month. So I got those at a bit of a discount, and oh man, I'm definitely framing one of those. That's why I got 2. I was like, I have to get 2 because I just need to do something with that second one because dope Supergirl covers. Sign me up all day. You already know that, Dragon. So yeah, that is that. Happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. Again, happy new comic book day, everybody. Have some fun, read some comics.